you've ever opened your Notion sidebar and counted 6 different pages you should be using, but you only actually open one of them, this video is gonna land hard. Here's what not enough people are talking about with Notion. The problem isn't that your system is broken. The problem is that we've been taught to build more pages when what we actually need is to build one home base. One home base that pulls everything into one view. The reason you keep abandoning your system isn't discipline. It's that every page you build adds navigation tax. And ADHD brains or neurodivergent brains feel that tax more than anybody else. I'm Ellen, I do operations and capacity work for ADHD founders, and this came out of a training I did in my live community this week. In it, I'm gonna show you exactly how I collapsed everything from 7 daily pages down into one dashboard. Let's get into it. So with the dashboard view, I went over this very, very briefly in last week's Third Thursday webinar. But how I think of how dashboards can be very effective, I do feel like I wish they gave them a different name because I feel like it's easy to confuse a dashboard view with like my home base dashboard. Like this dashboard, that's generally in Notion what we call a page that has a lot of different information on that page. Like this is a dashboard. This is a dashboard as well. So it is, I will say, I think the name can get a little bit confusing. When I use the word dashboard today in this walkthrough, I am referring to this particular layout view. And whenever you create a new dashboard layout view, you're gonna have the opportunity to edit your dashboard, and you can see essentially what it's saying here is add charts, tables, lists, etc. So how I think of this dashboard is it's a little bit more, this dashboard view is a little bit more of a structured way to get a snapshot on some of the things that might be going on in your Notion system, in your world, etc. So how dashboards work, they actually are very, very simple. You're just gonna go in and go edit dashboard, and then you're gonna see these little plus signs that appear all over it. So it's gonna have the opportunity for you to add something to your new view. And you're gonna go in and quite literally choose from any of your databases that you have in your system, and you can add those as a view in your Notion system. So like maybe, I actually wonder if I have this in my productivity hub, because if I don't, maybe I'll just create it right now. A way you could use your dashboard views. No, I don't. Let's do it. Yes. Oh, I do. Actually, I do. So in my productivity hub, in my all tasks database, I have this dashboard view that was meant to be essentially a snapshot of what's going down in my tasks database. So I can see all of my tasks by status. So I have 355 tasks that are to-do tasks. I have 133 tasks that are in my parking lot right now. I have 60 overdue tasks, which that's probably not accurate, but that's okay. And then I can see tasks by decision priority. I have 6 that are in the hold off category, and I have 358 that don't have a decision priority. So this is how I prioritize my tasks day in and day out. I have a place where I can see the snapshot of my this week's tasks. I have a place where I can see the snapshot of my overdue tasks. So that's probably something like when I'm doing my weekly planning, I could utilize this as a way to plan and schedule. And then I have a place where I can see my waiting for and my in progress. So it's meant to be used sort of like this, as this sort of broad overview snapshot of what's happening in various different databases. What might be another one that I have that I could show you a snapshot of? I might have it for my content ideas as well. I might not as well. Yeah, so it looks like I don't. So let's actually create one here. So we can go into new view. I could go to dashboard, and I could create a kind of content ideas snapshot in here. And let's say I want to see in this how many ideas that I have. Let's do all ideas. And let's say maybe I want to view this as a chart. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to make this a chart, and I'm going to make it we can go into edit chart, and we'll call these like my content ideas or something like that. That's great typing. And I think I'm just going to make this a number. Let's keep it like a nice, simple view. I want to show how many pieces of content, and I can change the label on it to content ideas that I have that maybe I want to filter by the ones that are just content ideas. So yeah, status is rough idea. And then I'm going to actually add this to my advanced filter. And then I'm going to say, or time is empty. So one or the other, because these are all going to be all of the things that are unscheduled. So that's a really nice thing to know, that I have like 2,000 content ideas in my content database that I could pull from. I could also add another one where I could see maybe I want to see a chart where I can see the breakdown of these by pillar or something like that. So I want to see how my different content ideas break down by pillar. And again, I could do where status is rough idea. And then time, oopsies, not timeliness. Time is empty. And let's add these to the advanced filter so that I can have them play off of each other. Get out of there. So that might be a useful view for me to see is, okay, I want to use a post this week that is more burnout prevention geared or more systems geared or more inspiration and, CEO energy geared. And the nice thing about these charts is they're dynamic. So I can click on them and I can see everything that's coming up in this category. So that could be something that would be helping me plan. So you can build these sort of dashboards that have a lot of snapshot information in them. And I feel like kind of sky's the limit in terms of how you do this. I have one in my sales hub as well that is a sales dashboard where I can see the money that's come in by month, the year LTV, and is my LTV increasing over time, which yay, it is. I can see the current proposals that are out. I can see the breakdown of income coming in. So these are just nice snapshots to have. And I think that's the thing that I really enjoy about this particular feature is it is one of the best ways to provide that overarching snapshot. So that's essentially, like, in a very, very succinct way, that's kind of how we can use dashboards. And I've given some use cases for how we can use them. Probably my favorite way, though, that I've used them thus far is that was the biggest way. You guys hear me talk about my daily pages a lot. And I know I've shared this a little bit before, but I haven't gone into like the details of how I transitioned my daily pages down into one single page. So let's actually go ahead and do that because I think this is really helpful. So one of my favorite ways that I've done the dashboards in here is, like I've said before, I usually do my daily pages by, or I used to do my daily pages by, I would go to like a Monday page, a Tuesday page, etc. And these pages had all of this information down below that I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at who I'm following up with, what I'm selling, my KPIs for that week, engagement, and then I would log my habits down at the bottom. So it had all of this stuff on the page that, again, I designed these daily pages to represent these are the things I like to do on that day of the week. But what I decided is it got irritating to hop back and forth between all of these different pages. So what I essentially did is I built a daily pages dashboard view, and I built it on my home base page. So if I go over here to daily dashboards, you will see that I essentially took what is on my Monday page and I put it onto this dashboard view. So like my Notion tip of the week, which used to live right here of this is the topic I was going to talk about. I clearly had a bunch of ideas for today and I don't think I'm using any of them. But like my Notion tip of the week of what I'm going to talk about was always right here. So now on my home base page, I just made a little Notion tip of the week section right here. I have this week's strategy view. It's Memorial Day, so I haven't planned this week yet. But that's where all of my strategy moves are going to show up here. You can see the who am I following up with got moved to right here. So I just I went into a dashboard and I just started building these tiles so that I could see all of the information that I used to have on my Monday page is now over in this Monday dashboard view. Same thing with Tuesday. If I go over to, let's actually look at Wednesday because Wednesday is probably one of the most straightforward ones. Wednesday is when I did all of my content planning. So I've got my parent content and then my weekly schedule for the content that's going to go out. That's what I do on Wednesdays. So now under my Wednesday dashboard view tab, I have that. I can see my parent content that's going out this week, and I can see where I'm at in terms of scheduling content for this week. So that's probably been one of my favorite ways to use dashboards is these dashboards have essentially replaced these daily pages. I haven't deleted the daily pages yet because I'm still kind of transitioning over, but that's probably my biggest use case for how I use these dashboard pages. It's taken, between tabs and dashboards, that's allowed me to consolidate everything down that used to be spread across multiple different pages.
If something clicked for you here, if you're realizing your Notion system isn't broken, it's just spread out in too damn many different places, the place I'd send you next is probably my community. Go ahead and go to coachellen.com/community, links in the description down below, or join my Sunday CEO diary. It's my newsletter. It is the behind the scenes all access pass where I really dig into the diagnosis behind the systems that I build. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the YouTube-y things, and I will see you next time. Bye.